We're going to bring this part across, and we're going to make this little lip that goes right here, and then we'll make the holes in the front. We're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to do one for front view, and we're going to select these three vertices because this is where the bottom of the grill is. And then we're just going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring it to the center. We're also going to bring it forward some to create some curvature in the front. If you want to, you can do 7 for top view, Z for wireframe, and just bring it forward similar to the rest of the car. We want this little lip part to continue on to about here. It goes a little bit further than this as far as I can tell. So we're going to need another vertex here. So we're going to do Control R, and we're going to left click, right click. And we're actually going to get rid of some of these, but first we want to take this one, and then shift select this one, do J to join. And then we're going to get rid of all these by doing Alt right click, delete, and dissolve edges. We can also go to edge select, select this edge, do delete and dissolve edges there. So now we actually have a quad here instead. So that's nice. And we're going to switch to face select, and we're going to select these faces now. Then we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and we're going to bring this out slightly. Then we're going to switch to vertex select, and we want to merge these back to there. So we're going to take this one, shift select this one, Alt M, and choose that last. Select this one, shift select this one, and do Shift R to repeat, and then do the same down here, Shift R, repeat that. So now we have this nice little lip here. The next thing we're going to want to do is to try to round off the shape. You can see it's not really rounded off. You can even go to side view, and you can kind of tell this is a bit far out. So you can actually just bring some of these back if you want to a bit, and just adjust the shape some. So we're going to bring this back slightly. That should be fine. But you also want to move some of these forward, just to make sure that the curvature remains relatively rounded in this area. I think that looks reasonably good. Another thing you can do right here is just select this vertex, bring it out on the x-axis, and do the same here. You can even do the same with these if you select both of these and just bring them in some more so that there's better spacing in this area. And one thing you can do if you don't really like the shading right here is just select these two, then do J to join, and that'll change the shading a little bit. And then you're going to select these four and press F, and that'll make it back into a quad but keep the shading that they had with that triangle there. It's a new little trick that I just became aware of. Then to make the holes in the front, we're going to switch to face select, and we'll select these two faces. You can do one for front view if you want. And then we're just going to do I to inset this, and we'll inset it about that far. I'm going to switch to edge select and select these two outer edges, and just do Q to slide them in. We're going to slide them in further than the lights, so it has to be in further. That's probably going to be alright. And then we want to select these two, and we're going to do Q to edge slide these up as well. You could actually do this one as well if you wanted to, and just do Q to slide this one up. Just to make this a little bit smaller, then select this and do Q and slide that up as well. And maybe actually slide this down slightly, so I'm going to do Q and slide it down slightly. Then I'm just going to make sure that this is relatively in the center of the other two. So this looks alright. I'm probably going to bring this in a little bit with Q just to make this a little bit smaller. I don't want it to be that big. So that's going to be good there. So the next thing is going to be to actually make this into a hole. We're going to select these faces, do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and just bring it in about that far is fine. And then we're going to do delete and choose faces. So now there's actually a hole in the model. So the shading's not the greatest in these areas. One thing a lot of people on my Discord seem to like to use is edge split. So if we just go to add modifier and do edge split, we're going to have to change the angle. I'm going to change it to about 60. And then you can see the shading improves a bit on the corners, so it's a bit nicer there. The other option would be, of course, to use a bevel, and that would do something similar. So we're going to finish off this bottom part. We're going to go to vertex select, and we're going to select these three vertices here because these are the ones on the bottom. We don't need this one at the moment, so we're just going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring it to the center on the x-axis. And then we want to fill in this area, so we're going to select these two, and we're actually going to select all these and just do F to make a face. And I'm going to merge this one over, so I'm going to select it, shift select this, alt M at last. So now we have all quads again. Then I'm just going to do A twice, control N just to make sure the normals are correct. Tab into object mode, and I'm going to turn on smooth shading just to make sure this has smooth shading rather than flat shading. So it looks a little bit better like that. The only other thing I might actually want to do is make this a little bit further out, because this is supposed to be a bit further back. So what I'm going to do is just select all the stuff in the front, all the vertices on the front area here, and do the same here, and actually get these that are behind it too. We'll just get all this stuff, that's fine. And we want to get these as well, so we're going to get those three. So we have all the front vertices, but we're not going to get this vertice or this vertex, and that's going to be good. We're just going to bring these forward some just to make it a bit more, have a bit more depth right here. And if you want to, you can adjust these vertices just to make sure that the curvature is staying nice and smooth in that area. But other than that little adjustment there, I think this is pretty good. So we're just going to save it by going to File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.